Have you ever walked into the bathroom, looked at your own reflection, and for a fleeting moment not recognized the person staring back? It's more than just a passing thought about getting older. It's a chilling, disorienting feeling that something fundamental has shifted. What if I told you that this strange experience, this brief moment of disconnect in the most private of spaces, could be one of the earliest, most overlooked signs of Alzheimer's disease? Stay with me, because what we're about to uncover goes far beyond simple forgetfulness. It's a secret your own mind might be trying to tell you, hidden in plain sight, right there in your bathroom mirror. Before we go any deeper into this, if you find this topic important, if it resonates with you or someone you love, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's a small click for you, but it's a massive signal of support for us. It tells us you want more content like this, more answers, and more hope. Your subscription helps us continue this journey together, so thank you in advance for being part of our community. Now let's talk about what's really happening in that moment of confusion. We've all been conditioned to think of Alzheimer's as memory loss, forgetting keys, names, or appointments. But neuroscience is revealing a much more subtle and insidious onset. Researchers are now focusing on a phenomenon called visual agnosia, specifically prosopagnosia, which is the inability to recognize faces. And one of the first faces we might struggle to recognize is our own. Imagine this. Sarah, a 67-year-old retired teacher, always took pride in her appearance. One morning, while brushing her teeth, she caught her eye in the mirror and froze. She saw a woman with tired eyes and graying hair, but for a solid 10 seconds, she couldn't connect that image to herself. She knew logically it had to be her, but the emotional recognition, that deep-seated feeling of, "that's me," was gone. It was like looking at a stranger. She shook her head, splashed water on her face, and the feeling passed. She dismissed it as fatigue, a weird trick of the light. But it happened again a week later, this time lasting a little longer. This isn't just a story, it's a reality for many. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Neurology followed a group of individuals in their late 60s and 70s over several years. They found that subtle difficulties in facial recognition, including self-recognition, were present up to a decade before a formal Alzheimer's diagnosis was made. The part of the brain responsible for processing faces, the fusiform gyrus, can be one of the early areas affected by the amyloid plaques and tau tangles associated with the disease. So, why the bathroom? It's a place of routine and privacy. It's where we confront ourselves daily, without social masks. When we're brushing our teeth, washing our face, or fixing our hair, we are engaged in an intimate, almost subconscious dialogue with our own reflection. This daily ritual becomes a baseline test. When that baseline is disrupted, when the familiar becomes foreign, it's a significant neurological event. It's not about vanity, it's about identity. The brain is failing to connect the visual data, the face in the mirror, with the stored concept of self. Think about how terrifying that is. Your identity is the bedrock of your existence. It's the collection of all your memories, experiences, and relationships. To have that foundation crack, even for a moment, is profoundly unsettling. Many women, like Sarah, dismiss these moments. They blame stress, poor eyesight, or just the natural process of aging. Society has taught us to be resilient, to brush off our worries. But this is one worry you shouldn't ignore. Another subtle sign that often accompanies this is a change in personal grooming habits, which also plays out in the bathroom. Someone who was always meticulous about their hair or makeup might suddenly seem unkempt. It's not because they've stopped caring. It can be a direct result of this visual disconnect. If you don't fully recognize the person in the mirror, it becomes incredibly difficult to perform familiar grooming tasks. You might struggle to apply lipstick evenly or part your hair the way you always have. The feedback loop is broken. The face in the mirror is no longer a reliable guide. Let's look at the case of Margaret, featured in a documentary on aging. Her daughter first noticed something was wrong when her mother, a woman who never left the house without her signature red lipstick, started applying it unevenly, sometimes missing her lips altogether. When her daughter gently pointed it out, Margaret would look in the mirror, seem confused, and wipe it all off, as if she couldn't process what she was seeing. It wasn't a problem with her hand. It was a problem with her brain's interpretation of her own face. Months later, other more classic memory symptoms began to appear, but the lipstick was the first real clue. This is a critical point. We are so focused on memory tests that we miss these crucial behavioral and perceptual changes. The bathroom becomes a private stage where the early scenes of this disease are enacted, long before they spill out into the rest of life. It's the subtle hesitation before using a razor, the confusion over which product is shampoo and which is conditioner, or that chilling moment of looking at your reflection and asking, "Who is that?" So, what can we do? The first step is awareness. We need to shift our understanding of Alzheimer's beyond just memory loss. We need to pay attention to these subtle visual and perceptual changes, both in ourselves and in our loved ones. If you or someone you know is experiencing this, don't panic, but don't dismiss it. It's time to start a conversation. Documenting these instances is crucial. Keep a simple journal. When did it happen? What were you doing? How did it feel? How long did it last? This information can be incredibly valuable for a doctor. When you go for a checkup, don't just say, "I'm feeling a bit forgetful." Say, "I had an experience where I didn't recognize my own reflection for a few seconds, and it's happened 3 times this month." That is a specific, concrete symptom that a neurologist can work with. This isn't about creating fear. It's about empowering you with knowledge. Early detection is our most powerful weapon against Alzheimer's. While there is no cure yet, early diagnosis opens the door to treatments that can slow progression, to clinical trials, and most importantly, to planning for the future. It allows families to make important decisions together, to put support systems in place, and to maximize quality of life. Consider the brain's incredible plasticity. Engaging in activities that challenge visual processing can be beneficial. Things like jigsaw puzzles, learning a new visual skill like painting, or even playing certain video games can help build cognitive reserve. Studies on superagers, older adults with memories as sharp as people decades younger, show their brains have a higher resistance to the formation of plaques and tangles. They stay mentally and socially active, constantly learning and challenging their minds. Let's go back to that moment in the bathroom. It's a deeply personal and often lonely experience. The woman looking in the mirror feels a sense of shame or fear, and her first instinct is to hide it. But what if we changed that narrative? What if we saw it not as a moment of failure, but as a call to action? A signal from our own body that it's time to pay closer attention, to seek help, and to fight back. If you are a daughter, a son, a friend, or a spouse, be observant. Look for the subtle changes. Does your mother seem to take longer in the bathroom? Does her makeup or hair seem different? Does she avoid looking in mirrors? Ask gentle questions. "Mom, you seem a little distant today. Is everything okay?" Create a safe space for her to share her fears without judgment. Your compassion and understanding can be the bridge that leads her to getting the help she needs. The journey with Alzheimer's is a marathon, not a sprint. And the earliest miles of that marathon are often run in silence, in the privacy of our own homes, right in front of the bathroom mirror. Recognizing this early, subtle sign, this moment of visual disconnection from the self, is like seeing the first mile marker. It doesn't mean the race is over. It means it's time to adjust your strategy, to gather your support team, and to face the road ahead with courage and information. We've covered a lot of sensitive ground today, and I truly hope this has been insightful and empowering for you. It's a conversation that needs to be had, and by watching this far, you've become a part of it. The face in the mirror is more than just a reflection. It's a window into our neurological health. Let's learn to look at it with new eyes, with awareness, and with hope. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Your attention is the greatest gift. If this video helped you in any way, please share it with someone you think needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that matters. Take care of yourselves and each other.